Ever needed a birth certificate fast? Maybe you're starting a new job, getting a passport, or enrolling in school, only to hit an absolute brick wall of confusing websites and hidden fees? Well, you are definitely not alone. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're giving you a comprehensive, guided map to grabbing a West Virginia birth certificate online without falling into those expensive, time-consuming traps. So did you know that West Virginia doesn't actually have its own direct online ordering system for birth certificates? It sounds pretty surprising in our digital age, right? But doing a simple Google search for this vital record can actually lead you straight into a very confusing digital landscape of third-party vendors. The state simply doesn't run a checkout portal on its own site. And because of this structural quirk, it's incredibly easy to accidentally pay way more money than you need to, or end up waiting weeks longer than necessary. Okay, let's look at today's agenda. We're going to cover 1. Navigating the online ordering maze. 2. Checking your eligibility. 3. Gathering your required identification. 4. Comparing the real costs and timelines. And finally, 5. Troubleshooting and final tips. Let's jump right into Section 1, the online ordering maze. This is absolutely the most confusing part of the entire process, so we really need to know exactly who we're dealing with before typing in any credit card numbers. In West Virginia, you're looking at two very different types of websites. On one side, you've got authorized partners. Think VitalCheck or Go Certificates. These platforms have a direct, secure database integration with the West Virginia Vital Registration Office. They talk directly to the state's servers. But on the flip side, you have unauthorized third-party vendors. Now, these sites are designed to look incredibly official. They've got state flags, government-sounding web addresses, the whole shebang. But in reality, they're just private businesses acting as an unnecessary middleman. See, because unauthorized vendors don't have that direct database integration, your request gets treated exactly like standard snail mail. Literally, they just take the info you type into their web form, print it out on a piece of paper, stuff it in an envelope, and mail it to Charleston for you. So not only are they charging you transaction fees, usually starting at $14 just to cover their own overhead on top of the state fee, but you're also paying a premium for a much slower result. You end up suffering from double mailing delays. Moving right along to Section 2, checking your eligibility. Before you hand over a single dime to anyone, authorized or not, we've got to make sure you actually have the legal right to request this document. To protect privacy and fight identity theft, West Virginia is super strict here. Access is limited primarily to the person named on the record as long as they're 18 or older or an emancipated minor. But you can also request it if you're an immediate, direct family member. We're talking parents, grandparents, adult children and grandchildren, adult siblings, or a spouse. Legal guardians and representatives can apply too, but they have to submit official court documents proving it. If you aren't on this specific list, they will instantly deny your request. All right, Section 3, gathering required identification. Once you know you're eligible, you have to formally prove your identity to the state registrar. There's a really helpful Adulting 101 guide from West Virginia University that hits the nail on the head here. You need 3 things: the proper ID, the proper fee, and the proper information. That information means knowing the exact name on the certificate, the exact date of birth, the mother's full maiden name, the father's full name, and the specific city and county of birth. Make sure to have all of that written down before you even start clicking around. Now, regarding that proper ID, the state has a very strict but clear rule to prevent fraud. You have to provide either one top-tier primary ID or a combination of 2 secondary documents. So let's focus on the absolute easiest path. Looking at primary IDs, this is your fastest route for sure. A standard U.S. passport, an unexpired military ID, or a current school or work photo ID works perfectly. But here is an incredibly cool rule about driver's licenses. The state actually allows DMV-issued driver's licenses, learner's permits, and photo IDs to be expired. Yep, they accept them up to 5 years expired for a license or passport, and up to 1 year for a standard state ID card. That is a massive relief if you need your birth certificate specifically to go renew an old expired ID. Next up, Section 4, comparing costs and timelines. So we've got our IDs, and we know we're eligible. Let's talk money and time. The baseline statutory fee set by the state for a certified copy is exactly $12. That's the flat rate the state takes. But listen closely, because this $12 includes a non-refundable search fee. If their computer system doesn't immediately find your record, state employees will manually search the year you gave them, plus the year before and the year after. If they still can't find it after all that, they issue a no-record letter, and you do not get that $12 back. Let's see how that fee scales depending on your chosen method. Believe it or not, Going local to a county clerk is the ultimate bargain at just $5 plus postage. It's a great hidden gem, especially since county archives often predate the state registry. Now, if you go directly through the centralized state mail-in request, it's $12. But if you want the modern convenience of an authorized online portal, you're looking at an extra $13.50 processing fee, bringing the total to $25.50 for standard delivery. And those unauthorized agents, you'll be shelling out $26 or more for significantly worse service. You might be wondering, why on earth would I pay the extra $13.50 for an authorized online portal? Well, it comes down to speed. Authorized online portals use real-time electronic identity validation. They use secure systems to verify you remotely, meaning you usually completely bypass having to mail in physical copies of your IDs. The digital order zips straight to the state registrar for printing. Mail-in requests, though, take 2 to 8 weeks, and unauthorized agents take even longer because of those double mailing delays we talked about earlier.
If you do choose the fast online route, it's actually incredibly streamlined. You just hop onto an authorized site like FidalCheck or Go Certificates, select West Virginia and your document type, and walk through the guided application. They'll run that real-time identity check, basically pinging public records to match your answers. Once you're verified, you securely pay with a card. The whole process usually takes less than 10 minutes, and you don't even have to leave your couch. Let's wrap things up with Section 5, Troubleshooting and Final Tips.
We want to make sure you don't hit any unexpected speed bumps. And here's a massive warning regarding customer service. If you use a third-party website, even an authorized one, and you hit a delay, the West Virginia Vital Registration Office will not help you. Any issues have to be handled directly by the specific vendor you paid. That is a huge reason to stick strictly to the authorized integrated partners, because at least they actually have a direct line to the state system if something goes sideways. Just a few rapid-fire final reminders for you. If you decide to mail your application to the state or county clerk to save cash, absolutely do not send physical cash in the mail. Always use a secure check or money order. Also, if you're just diving into historical family genealogy and you don't need a legally certified document, don't pay anything. Go use the free interactive portal at the West Virginia Culture Center instead. Lastly, if you're moving abroad and need an apostille, plain photocopies won't cut it. You must use an original or recently certified physical copy. Now, before we sign off, keep this evergreen disclaimer in mind. State procedures, ID requirements, prices, and wait times can and do change. While this explainer gives you a really solid map of the process, always take a quick second to verify the latest rules with the West Virginia Department of Health or the authorized vendor directly before you hand over your personal info. So, now that you've got the complete guide to navigating the system, the choice is yours. Are you going to optimize for cost and hit up the local county clerk for a $5 bargain? Or are you going to pay for the speed and convenience of the $25 online express? Whichever path you choose, you've now got the knowledge to avoid the traps and grab your records hassle-free. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. You know, it really makes you wonder, as more of our lives go fully digital, how long is it going to be until all these scattered archives and complex verification webs are finally streamlined into just a single national click? Happy navigating!